Imagine driving back to your slice of American dream after years abroad, only to find your empty lot transformed into a cookie-cutter suburb, complete with manicured lawns and HOA flags flapping like victory banners. But wait, it gets better. The self-appointed neighborhood overlords label you the intruder on your own damn property. And just when you think bureaucracy can't sink lower, you uncover a web of lazy surveys and arrogant developers who thought they could redraw boundaries like kids with crayons, all while preaching community standards from their high horses. It all started in the sleepy outskirts of Willow Creek, a typical Midwestern town where the biggest excitement was the annual chili cook-off. I was Alex Thompson, a mid-30s software engineer with a knack for keeping my head down and my code clean. Life was predictable, remote gigs that let me work from anywhere, a modest apartment, and dreams of something more permanent. That's when I spotted the ad for a 5-acre plot on the edge of town. Nothing fancy, just rolling grass dotted with wildflowers, a stand of oaks whispering in the wind, and a view of the sunset that could make you forget your inbox. I scrimped, saved, and bought it outright. Signed the deed in black ink. Got the title insured. Even had a surveyor plant those iron pins deep in the soil like buried treasures. "This is yours now, Alex," the realtor said with a handshake that felt like sealing fate. "Build your future here." I nodded, tucking the papers into a waterproof folder. My late grandpa's words echoed. "Land's the only thing they ain't making more of, kid. Hold it tight." But dreams don't pay bills. And when my company dangled a 2-year contract in Singapore, double the salary, expat perks, I couldn't say no. The land wasn't going anywhere. I'd set up auto payments for taxes, asked my old neighbor Jim to keep an eye out, and boarded the flight with a mix of excitement and that nagging pull of leaving something behind. Singapore was a whirlwind. High rises piercing the sky, street food that burned your tongue, and work that blurred days into nights. I threw myself into it, coding algorithms that optimize supply chains while ignoring the ache of homesickness. Then, midway through, the call came at dawn, my sister's voice cracking over the line. "Alex, it's Dad. Heart attack. You gotta come back." I flew home in a daze, spent weeks at his bedside in that sterile hospital room, listening to machines beep like accusatory metronomes. Dad pulled through, barely, but it shook me. "Don't waste your time overseas forever," he rasped, gripping my hand. "That land of yours. Make something of it." I promised I would, then return to Asia, the plot waiting like a paused chapter. Years slipped by in a haze of deadlines and dim sum. I extended the contract once, then twice, telling myself it was just temporary. The land stayed mine on paper, taxes ticking away automatically, untouched except for Jim's occasional mower runs. No red flags, no letters, just silence from Willow Creek. Until the assignment wrapped, and I booked a one-way ticket home, craving that quiet acreage like a starved man eyes a steak. I rented a pickup at the airport, grabbed a black coffee from the drive-thru, and headed out as the sun dipped low, painting the highway gold. "Home sweet home," I muttered, turning onto the familiar dirt road, or what used to be dirt. Now it was asphalt, smooth as a politician's lie, flanked by stone pillars etched with Willow Bend estates, where community thrives. My stomach twisted. This couldn't be right. But there was the old oak grove, now trimmed like a poodle, and the dip where rainwater used to pool, filled in with gravel. And smack in the middle of my plot, for gleaming McMansions, vinyl siding shining under floodlights, driveways curling like smug smiles, Mailboxes labeled with brass numbers. 2 more frames stood skeletal, wrapped in plastic sheeting. A sign hammered into the ground read, HOA enforced, no trespassing without approval. I slammed on the brakes, heart pounding like a jackhammer. Stepping out, the air smelled of fresh paint and entitlement. A woman in a pastel polo and khakis marched over, her badge glinting. Karen Whitaker, HOA president. She had that permed hair frozen in place by hairspray and a smile that didn't reach her eyes. Pure suburban sentinel. Can I help you, sir? This is private property. Her tone was honeyed steel, the kind that says move along without saying it. I blinked, pulling out my phone to show the scanned deed. Actually, this is my property. Parcel 47C, 12. I own it. She glanced at the screen like it was a joke flyer, then chuckled a dry, patronizing sound. Oh, honey, you must be mistaken. This is phase 1 of Willow Bend. All lots sold and developed properly. If you have an old claim, take it up with the county. But right now, you're trespassing. Trespassing? On my own land? I felt the world tilt. Look, lady, I've got the deed, the surveys, everything. Who built this? She crossed her arms, lips pursing. Our esteemed developer, Mr. Hargrove. He's bringing progress to this town. Now, if you'll excuse me, we have standards to maintain. She waved me off like a stray cat, turning back to inspect a flower bed. I drove away in a fog, rumors already buzzing in my mind. Had Jim mentioned anything? No. But a quick call revealed he'd been paid off to look the other way by the HOA. Whispers started. That guy's some absentee owner trying to scam the neighborhood. Boy, no. Slandered before I even unpacked. That night, in a dingy motel room, I spread out my documents like a war map. The anger simmered, but I stayed cool, observing, planning. No rash moves. That's how they win. Next morning, I hit the county clerk's office, the fluorescent lights buzzing like angry bees. The clerk, a weary woman named Doris with cat eye glasses, sighed at my parcel number. Let's see. Oh, interesting. A new plat was filed 2 years back. Developer shifted boundaries, said it was a correction for drainage. Correction? It was a land grab, plain and simple. They'd nudged the line just enough to engulf my acres, stamping it through with no cross-checks. Lazy bureaucracy at its finest. But my deed predates that, I pressed. She shrugged. County doesn't verify overlaps. We just record. You'll need a lawyer. Enter Sarah Klein, a sharp-eyed attorney with a no-nonsense bob and a track record of shredding HOAs. She reviewed my files over coffee that tasted like regret. This is textbook encroachment, Alex. They've built on your dirt without a whisper of permission. We can file for quiet title, ejectment, hell, even damages. But she paused, eyeing me. Question is, how far do you want to push? Mercy or justice? I thought of Dad's words, the whispers calling me a fraud. Justice, I said quietly. Let them dig their own grave. Word spread fast in Willow Bend. Karen Whitaker wasted no time weaponizing the HOA newsletter. Beware of fraudulent claims, protecting our community from speculators, subtle as a sledgehammer. Neighbors eyed me suspiciously at the grocery store, murmuring about that guy trying to tear down our homes. I bit my tongue, documenting everything, photos of the houses, emails from nosy board members. One evening, A knock at my temporary rental. Karen herself, flanked by 2 bored lackeys, all smiles and clipboards. Mr. Thompson, we've heard about your misunderstanding. As a gesture of goodwill, the HOA is willing to offer you a nominal sum for any overlaps. Say, $5,000? Think of the families moving in, we can't have disruptions. Her voice dripped faux concern, eyes scanning my place like she was assessing violations. I leaned against the door frame, casual. Overlaps? You mean the theft of my entire property? Pass. But tell me, Karen, does your community include checking deeds before pouring concrete? She stiffened, that polite mask cracking. We're all about order here. If you pursue this, it'll get ugly. Lawsuits cost everyone. The threat hung like bad perfume. I smiled thinly. Ugly's relative. See you around. Door closed, but inside, the fire burned brighter. As construction wrapped, the houses filled with eager buyers, young couples dreaming of picket fences, oblivious to the rot beneath. I watched from afar, snapping pics as workers installed sprinklers over my old boundary pins, now buried under sod. Sarah advised patience. Let them invest more. It strengthens our case. So I did, enduring the slander. Online forums lit up. Alex Thompson's a land hoarder blocking progress. Karen fueled it. Posting in the neighborhood app. We must stand united against outsiders threatening our values. Values? Like ignoring property lines? The irony was delicious. But I stayed silent, gathering ammo. Then came the first confrontation at an HOA meeting, open to the public. Supposedly. I slipped in back, notebook in hand. Karen presided like a queen, gavel in manicured fist. Item 3. Addressing spurious claims on our development. I swiveled to me. Mr. Thompson, care to explain why you're harassing our residents? Her tone was accusatory velvet. I stood, voice steady. Harassing? I'm the owner of the land your houses sit on. Got the deed to prove it. Murmurs rippled. A board member snorted. Old papers don't trump progress. We've got approvals. Karen nodded sagely. Exactly. This is about community, not greed. Greed? From the woman charging dues for beautification while squatting on stolen soil? I sat down, but the seed was planted, doubts flickered in a few faces. Tensions boiled as we filed the lawsuit. Lease pendants recorded. A scarlet letter on their titles, freezing sales cold. Buyers bailed. Agents scrambled. Karen's emails flooded in. Increasingly desperate. Think of the children. Alex, you're destroying dreams. I forwarded them to Sarah, who chuckled. Classic deflection. The HOA countered with a smear campaign, flyers in mailboxes. Defend Willow Bend from baseless attacks. Neighbors whispered I was a troublemaker, some even egging my truck. But I observed, patient as a spider. One night, a heated board meeting spilled onto the street. Karen, red-faced, cornered me by my car. You have no idea who you're messing with. I've got connections at the county. Her voice cracked, that authoritative facade slipping into shrill panic. I met her gaze. Connections? Like the ones that let you correct my boundaries? Save it for court. She stormed off. But I saw the fear, her throne wobbling. The escalation hit fever pitch when one house sold anyway, a gutsy title company gambling on a win. New owners. The Millers, a family with 2 kids and a golden retriever. Innocent pawns. We had to name them in the suit. turning allies against the HOA. Their lawyer pounced. Fraud! You sold us a lemon. Suddenly, fingers pointed inward. Karen's newsletter spun wildly. Minor technicality, HOA strong, but cracks showed. Board members resigned, muttering about liability. Mediation was a farce. In a sterile conference room, Karen sat ramrod straight, lawyer at her side. We'll waive your future dues if you sign over the disputed strips. Generous? No. Her smile was a rictus. I leaned forward. Generous? You built McMansions on my dirt and called me a squatter. Cover demolition, fees, and lost time or we're done. Her lawyer blustered. This is extortion. Sarah shot back. No, it's restitution. We walked out, their offers crumbling like cheap drywall. Court loomed, a powder keg of egos and evidence. Surveyors testified, maps projected like battle plans. The developer's expert squirmed under cross. Why ignore existing pins? Oversight, he mumbled, sweat beading. Our side presented ironclad proof, photos, affidavits, GPS data. Karen took the stand, prim and proper. We're fostering community harmony. This man abandoned his land. Sarah pounced. Abandoned? Taxes paid. Deed recorded. Harmony means stealing. Karen flushed. It's for the greater good. The judge, a grizzled veteran named Harlan, raised a bushy brow. Greater good doesn't trump deeds. Ma'am. Whispers filled the room, neighbors shifting uncomfortably. The HOA's case unraveled. Arrogant assumptions exposed. Progress revealed as greed. Closing arguments. Their lawyer pleaded mercy for innocence. Sarah countered. Innocents suffer because of recklessness. Justice demands accountability. The gavel fell verdict. My deed supreme. Structures to be removed. Costs on them. Victory call came mid-laundry. Sarah's voice triumphant. You won, Alex. Total vindication. The order. Demolish encroachments. Restore land. Pay up. Karen's emergency motion? Denied. Should have checked boundaries, Judge Harlan quipped. Demolition day dawned bright. Chaos reigning. Reporters swarmed. Cameras rolling. Neighbors gawked from lawns. Karen arrived in a huff, blocking a news van. This is outrageous. Think of the waste. A sheriff's deputy nudged her aside. Ma'am. Step back or cuffs it is. Her face twisted. Tense. Ludicrous. A caricature of fallen power. The excavator roared. Bucket descending on the first roof. Crunch. Walls folded. Dust billowing like exhaled secrets. The Millers watched tearfully as movers hauled boxes, but their glare fixed on Karen. You lied to us, the wife snapped. Karen stammered. It was a misunderstanding, but no one bought it. House by house, dreams crumbled, fireplaces exposed, kitchens gutted. The developer paced, phone frantic. Karen approached me, hissing. Satisfied? You've ruined everything. I turned calm. Ruined? You did that when you ignored the map. Enjoy the view. She deflated, slinking away as weeds already poked through cracks. In the aftermath, the HOA imploded. Bankruptcy filings flew, but Sarah's liens stuck like glue. The fountain stagnated. Signs sagged. Community dissolved into finger-pointing. Title companies shelled out settlements. Families relocated with fat checks. The county scrubbed records clean. I got damages enough to build my cabin, Finally, driving by now, it's just grass again, wind sighing through oaks. Neighbors nod warily, some even apologize. Karen, last seen selling her house. Standards forgotten. Justice tasted bittersweet, humor in the absurdity, satisfaction in the reversal. But hey, was I the villain for fighting back? Or were they the fools for assuming rules didn't apply? Drop your take, right or wrong. Would you have let those houses stand? Or brought the hammer down harder?